Welcome back to Leaders Tool Chest. My name is Keith Koger. I'm a prominent leader within the aerospace industry. And today I want to go ahead and welcome back to our latest episode. This episode is about the amazing book After Steve. It's by Tripp Mickel, and I have to tell you, it is a fantastic read. I've been on this journey here the last few years about how I can learn more about how these fantastic companies have made it to their peaks here in the last few years, especially if you go by either the products they're introducing or if you go by their stock market prices. Apple has just been the number one for me, and even though the founder, Steve Jobs, in his passing, he left the company in very credible, excellent hands. And I have to say that this is I just love learning more and more about how such a fantastic company continues to operate at such a high level. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull this up for you. After Steve is it's a book you can purchase on Amazon. You can buy it on Barnes and Noble. But this book is just it's basically after Steve Jobs died. How did Tim Cook? How did Johnny Ive? How did all these guys? They lost such a prolific leader. How were they able to manage after Steve passed away? And this goes on the journey, through emails, through phone calls, through interviews, and it breaks down. It's detail-oriented about how Tim Cook had to make these extremely hard decisions. He wanted to maintain his composure with all the people that Steve really respected, and at the end of the day, this book it's more about how Apple had a few shortcomings and had a few faults, but at the end of the day, they were still able to continue to operate at such a high level. And it's because Tim Cook, he's such a different style leader than Steve Jobs was. But that's the beautiful thing about the way Tim Cook does things. He's not doing things as if he's Steve, or he's not trying to recreate Steve Jobs in any way, shape, or form. He's literally being his own leader, and he's making decisions based on his gut instincts, and that's what a real leader is. You take all the information from all the people that inspire you, and at the end of the day, you have to make these decisions based on what are your motivators, and how do you perceive that you can make the best possible decisions. And that's why I personally really recommend this book. It's well written. It's not too. Let me see. I think it's like 300. It's about 400 some pages. But it's one of those books that you just sit down and you engross yourself in it, and I highly recommend it. I read it over a weekend here recently, and I have to say this book is just one of those. It's a page turner. It's funny too because I remember a lot of these instances where Apple had nearly missed a few major issues, and it was all because other companies were being selfish. Like Samsung, the reason their Galaxy phones were exploding was because they had those batteries they had created, but they refused to sell them to Apple. But because they had refused to sell them to Apple, they completely shot themselves out of the market, and that was just pure greed. So if they had given Apple the option to buy some of those batteries, it would have affected the entire smartphone market, and Samsung may have still been able to stay as a leader in the market, but because of just their lack of humility and saying, okay, we want to make sure that everybody has their fair share, and we can market our batteries, and because they wanted to be selfish about it, it kind of really backfired, and that wasn't even an on purpose thing. So I have to say, you get a chance, get a copy of this book. I highly recommend it. The author, Tripp Mickel, he's an amazing author, and you get out of it whatever you want. And I have to say, thanks again for continuing to watch my newest episodes here at the Space Coast. And get a chance, subscribe to the Leaders Tool Chest. And my name's Keith Koger, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.